One of the shots that all of us encounter when we're playing golf is roughly a 20 to 30 yard pitch shot. And for some of you, especially the higher handicappers, or even some of you that are better golfers, accomplished golfers in the single digits, this shot here poses a lot of challenges to you, maybe because you're doing something a little inconsistent, you're not quite sure what to do. So I just want to give you this video to clear a few things up that might allow you to have some more consistency in this shot, and at least give you a direction to go in if you're having a little bit of struggle. And then at the end, I'll give you a little bonus way that you can practice this very, very easily at your home course or your practice facility. So one of the things that I want to do is always use a rangefinder. It will allow you to dial in your distances. When a lot of students come out to see me and work on their game, if they want to go from a double-digit handicap down to single-digit handicap, one of the first things I ask them is how far they hit their half wedge or how far they hit their quarter wedge, or fill in the blank on any distance of their wedge. And their response almost always starts with about. And if you're wanting to get down to low single-digit handicaps and you don't know the distances that you hit your different swing lengths of your wedges for all the wedges in your bag, that would be step one. You have to figure out how far you hit your distances usually within about 3 yard landing area, if you want to get to the level and have the success that you want to. But today I'm just going to go over a few things that allow you some help that maybe you're struggling with, that are causing you to hit what most people will do. Either when they make their motion, they're going to hit it too heavy, or they're going to blade it, hit it right in the belly of the ball, and it's going to shoot it across the green. So if you're nodding your head yes while you're watching this video, then keep watching, because I think there'll be some things in here that you can use. Now, according to the research done by Dr. Rob Neal, who's been on our podcast, Golf 360, I will put a link to Dr. Neal's show down in the description below. All the research that he has brought forth some very, very interesting information. And a couple of the key features were the weight was, for the better players when they're wedges, the weight was on the target side foot more so than it was on the trail foot. One reason that is very important is it gives you more of a descending angle of attack down into the ball. So you're going to contact the ball for the most part. You're going to brush the top of the grass, but you're going to catch the ball well in advance of the club going into the turf and bottoming out. So that's important, because you have to. It's very important to have a descending angle of attack. Now, whatever swing style you have, if you have a shallow angle of attack in the rest of your game, you will probably have a shallower angle of attack into the ball, into your pitch shots, 5 to 6 degrees down. If you're more steep in your full swing, the chance of you having more 10 to 12 down are going to be highly probable in your chipping. But what is important to remember is on these shots, as well as any shots that you're going to hit chipping or pitching around the green, you're going to want an angle of attack that's downward, or a descending blow on the golf ball. And the easiest way to do that is, one, have at least 60% of your weight on your target side foot, with the back of the ball roughly at the center of your stance. The second thing when this happens is that Dr. Neal had noted is there is approximately a 12 to 15 degree shaft lean. So the shaft is leaning towards the target at impact, which will deal off the club, which is why it's important for many of you that are trying to hit this shot with, say, a 56 or a 54 or even a 52 degree. If you get 12 to 15 degrees of shaft lean and you have a downward angle of attack, not to get into D-plane too much, but when you have 52 degrees and you're down 8, okay, and your hands are ahead 10 to 15 or 12 to 15, you're going to have too little lob. Even if you hit the shot the way you want to, it's going to come in too hot and it's not going to stop. So preferably use your highest lofted wedge, 58, 59, 60, or even a little more, to hit some of these shots. If you're going to do it correctly, at least correctly is the way that most of the golfing world and the research has identified. So again, feet inside of shoulder width, back of the ball somewhere right about the middle of your stance, a little more weight on your target side foot, and hands slightly ahead. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, if your hands are slightly ahead, that's not 12 to 15 degrees ahead of the ball. However, when you make your swing and your pivot, there is a pressure change from your trail foot to your front foot, and when you lean to the front foot, that's where you get the remainder of that shaft lean. Okay, now if you need a little bit more height, you can do a number of different things. You can lower the shaft and back up a little bit. You can open the club face to add a little bit of loft. All of those things will help, but from there the motion is relatively simple. Should look something like this. Okay, that was a pretty good shot, right on target. You can see I had the divot right here. If I do one more just to illustrate, so target side foot, ball, back of the ball at roughly the center of my stance. Have a little bit of forward shift. You can see that one was a little cleaner. Where I scraped or just tore the top of the turf was right off the top of the grass. I'm not a very deep divot taker, so mine is going to be more of a brushing stroke. For some of you who are having trouble, if that's not helping with your heavy shots or your bladed shots across the green, there could be a number of different reasons about it. We've talked about that in chipping, but I will go over it very quickly here in this 25-yard wedge shot. What we often see is a change of the radius, meaning how far that this club is moving from our body. So right here, if I don't have much change, I just rotate my body back and through. You see there's no change in the radius. If I have a wrist hinge, now the radius has changed, and I have to somehow either get down to the ball by lowering my trail side, or what's more, or what is a better option for you is to release your wrist angles as they come down into impact. That's what I want you to work on. If you're having trouble with you're getting your hands too far ahead of the ball, you're de-lofting it too much, and you're stubbing your chips or you're blading them across the green, then the chances of you holding your angles and reducing your radius are probably very, very high. And the solution, if you're going to have more wrist hinge in your swing, is to let all of those angles go down at impact. Now here's the second key. When you do that, you release your right arm and your right wrist at the ball, you're going to want to push up with your legs, in particular your front leg, so that the head raises and there's room for that shaft and your right arm to extend. If not, you release it and you stay down, you're going to hit it heavy. So try to give you an example. Back of the ball, the center of the stance, weight a little on the front, shaft a little ahead. I'm going to release all my angles at the ball, and the ball as I work or push into the ground with my body going up, so they're going in reverse order, and it should make contact and impact much better. If you're struggling to get the solid contact that you want to out of the 25-yard pitch, out of the fairway or whatever surface you're hitting, you can go into the bunker, and this will give you some very clear idea of where you're hitting into the ground, because again, we want to catch the ball before our club starts to bottom out. So we're catching ball before turf. And this is a very simple exercise. I, again, got this from following and listening and having Dr. Rob Neal on our podcast. And it's a very simple exercise. You get in the sand trap and you put an alignment stick down in the, like this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to place a few golf balls just about a ½ inch or so on the target side of that. And then what you're going to do, let me get those about an inch or very close to that line. What you're going to do is you're going to have the same setup. Feet a little less than shoulder width apart. You're going to have more weight, at least 60% on your target side leg. You're going to have a little bit of shaft lean. And then you're going to go ahead and make the same motion. And when you hit into the sand, you're going to want to hit on the target side of that line. And obviously the sand will give you a very clear illustration of whether you do that or not. So on this one, if I were to take a practice swing, you can see I obviously hit the target side there. If I did it again and I didn't get forward, you can see that I entered the sand a good 4 inches behind. So obviously that is not going to be the type of shot that you want to hit. And then you can go through and you can just do this exercise and get immediate feedback. And if you have a tendency to hit behind the line, then you're most likely hanging back too much. You're not keeping your weight on your front foot, or in some portion of your swing you're allowing yourself to drift backwards. So this is a very good exercise. Again, we're about 20-25 yards, the same distance we were over there, and you just go through, get your good setup, weight a little forward, shaft a little forward, and you hit your shots. And you can see there I hit about an inch behind the line, and it didn't quite go the 20-25 yards I wanted to. So we do it again. Same setup. That one was very clean, and it got right out to the green and just how I wanted it to. And you can see that shot entered on the target side of the line, and you would just go down the line and hit each one, practicing this to get that immediate feedback. And when you go back into the fairway or off the shorter grass to hit these, you will likely find that your contact with the ball is much cleaner, much better, and you're hitting the ball the way you want to. Hey everybody, thank you for watching another one of our videos. If you found this useful and used it in your game, don't forget to click that like button and let us know down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to check out our podcast, one of the hottest podcasts in golf, Golf 360. If you'd like to watch another one of our videos or subscribe to our channel, you can do so right over here.